Hello and welcome back to Couch Surfing with Koi, the traveling podcast where the guests are whoever lets me sleep on their couch. And in today's episode, I'm in Pittsburgh, joined once again by TommyInnit. Tommy is a content creator and comedian and a good friend of mine that is currently on a comedy world tour and asked me to be a part of it as the special guest for a week. This episode was actually recorded hours before our last show together, and I think it's a really special one, to be honest. We get into a whole bunch of stuff: tour stories, inspiration, kissing MatPat, By Curiosity, Andrew Tate. Basically anything that you could ever think of is probably not in this episode, but some of it could be. So I guess you'll just have to watch and find out. Also, yes, I'm filming this in my car. I'm currently moving. And by currently moving, I mean I'm 6 hours into a 12-hour drive at a rest stop with my entire life behind me and kind of my entire life ahead of me, if you think about it, really. Isn't that something? Okay, enjoy the episode. Tom,
Once again, me in it.
me in it.
Yes. I
Um,
feel like I messed that up.
because
Sorry.
he's on tour right now, and I'm joining him.
We're on tour.
We're on tour. It's been really nice to say that recently.
It feels good, right?
Yeah. When I've
Yeah.
been busy during the week, and
I'm
I'm
on
like,
tour,
oh,
sorry."
sorry, I'm actually on tour that week, so I probably won't be on.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling, isn't it?
But I'll have someone get in touch. How's it been being on tour?
Yeah, it's man. Okay, I just want to preface this by saying my brain is fucking mush.
Yeah,
Like
I've only been here for a week, and I can't imagine how you're
yeah,
feeling.
this is the strangest time to do, because when me and Jack are doing Shut Up, I'm Talking, it's very formatted. It's very like picking things out of our week that are
Right.
like, we know what we're going to talk about. This in like just, hey, how are you doing, Tom? This is like the most you'll ever catch me. So this is an exciting time to be doing this.
Okay. Well,
How is tour? Anyway, yeah. Yeah, man, it's good. It's like basically 2 hours of the most sort of exhausting, exciting, brilliant, energizing experience.
mhm.
And then 22 hours of sort of sitting still, charging up for that.
Being in a car.
Yeah,
And then
being
a
in a car,
hotel.
listening in a hotel, listening to music for like 8 hours
Yeah.
every day.
I honestly,
How's it been for you?
it's been insane. I'll say
Yeah.
the logistics wise of it, like being in a car for like 4 or 5 hours a day, and then being in a different hotel every night really throws me off because
And you've joined on the casting. We had a bit
Yeah.
where we were flying every day.
yeah, you're taking the PJ.
I fucking wish, mate.
That's
I wish. I
private
would
jet.
literally, yeah, for any like nons that don't know, I would fucking bin off this stupid woke environment if it means I didn't have to go on goddamn fly every day. But no, I'm not, mate. Oh, I'm in this cramped little plane. And we had the plane to Glasgow where there
Uh-huh.
wasn't even fucking, it was like propellers. It wasn't an engine. And they made us,
Wait, what? Like the Wright brothers were there?
no, they said to us, me and Aaron were on the flight and they went, can you guys go sit at the back? The weight's off. No, and I was like the shakiest landing.
Where were you guys like going to like an
We were going to
uninhabited
Scotland.
island? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Like,
basically,
I'd kill for a private jet, man. Been off this fucking stupid.
so you guys got on one of the first planes ever made.
It was horrible, though. It was like, oh my God. It was the first flight and Aaron was shitting himself. And I was just like, I've had a good life. If I
Yeah.
die. You always have to do that on planes. There's always a
Mhm.
moment where you have to like accept, you have to become one with death.
Yeah, yeah. Every time there's a little turbulence, I'm
You
like,
go, it's
well,
fine. I've had a good life.
I'm like, I'll trend somewhere.
Yeah, that's what Aaron said to me. He said, it's fine if I die when I'm on the flight with you because I know at least I'll be in the news. I went, shut up, Aaron. But it's true.
But he'd be in. Do you think that he'd be like, it'd be like YouTuber and so many other people
Not
died? Like, how would they
YouTuber.
tell that
Yeah,
story?
probably wouldn't be like Aaron and yeah. You never know. You never know.
But he'd be there at least. Well,
Yeah.
for me on the tour, the hotel rooms are really throwing me off because last night I got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I almost opened the door into the room next to me because that's usually where my
there's
bathroom has
those.
been.
Yeah,
And I'm it's hard to get used to anything. But also that's kind of been my life since October.
you've been couch surfing.
I have been That was pretty cool. You just did there.
Man. I'm just
Um,
warming up for the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
Save that
Okay,
energy
yeah, all right.
for
Sorry.
Pittsburgh.
For stage AE.
For stage
Yeah.
AE, the American Eagle Outfitters
Yeah,
Arena.
so I'm wasting it. I should not be wasting it here. If you're so right, God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a little unfair to your fans that I'm.
Do you know what I mean, this is
using up
free.
some of
They're
your
paying
energy.
tonight. They're paying for this, and I'm It's fine. No, I'm on. I've got enough energy. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Don't worry. I know everyone was getting really stressed because you got an audience of empaths, but I'm not going. This is my reserves.
Yeah.
I'm using.
Oh, I hope there aren't too many empathetic people watching me. I don't like when they care too much.
Spill more tea, sister.
Well, if you don't mind for me to dive in.
Right.
On this podcast, we get straight to the nitty-gritty and to the heart of the issue, and we say things that other people they might not even say. It's kind of one of the taglines
That
of the
was nice. Yeah,
podcast.
is that like the short clip, short
Thanks.
form that will go out?
That was good. That was more for like I feel like that's what brands want to hear about podcasts when you like
Good.
pitch to them, you know?
That was the brand clip.
Yeah. That was for BetterHelp and
Good.
anyway,
Yeah.
how
Yeah, no, go on.
how this is our last show together tonight.
It is.
It's been so much fun performing together.
Why don't you clue in? Because I'm sure not all the audience know what the actual bit of your show is.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
I'll clue them in.
Yeah.
So
it's your show.
the first half is like my kind of work in progress, sort of my best stand up I've got, which is about 25 minutes of me doing stand up comedy, and then there's a little break, and then there's like an hour where a different guest each night, usually. For this stint it's been Coy, but usually it's Jack Manifold. But we've had Schlatt and MatPat and Daniel Howell and loads of people, and they come out. And it's kind of expanding on one of the jokes in the first half where they have a script, but the whole time they're on stage, they're reading words that I've pre-wrote for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting Coy to say things that he'd never usually say, and it's very exciting. Enticing.
It's a really really fun format because I get to just kind of show up.
Yeah.
But also there is some kind of like
There's a bit of tension because it's like you don't want to be calling the audience woke, but you are.
yeah. I'm making fun of the audience a lot. I'm saying bad things about LD Shadow Lady and Dan TDM.
Yeah.
And
Gets pretty heated up in there.
but it's been a lot of fun to be back on a stage because if you
because you did stage stuff, didn't you?
yeah, that might come as a surprise to you, but I did do theater. Yeah, I did theater. I was captain of my improv team, president of my drama club, and
Really?
yeah.
Oh my, I always thought you were like some like jock, football, hockey guy.
Yeah, kind of. In the way that no, there's not even a single way that I can make that connection.
Not really. Okay.
No, but this is your first time. I mean, this is your second time on tour? Third?
My third tour.
Wait, so what were the other tours?
I did the UK tour, which was 12 shows in the UK, and that was like you saw that. And then I did that same show but around America, but it was like it was modified. It was like different but the same thing around America.
I saw that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a year between those, and then it's this tour. But in this year, I've done like a million stand-up gigs.
How?
In between.
Yeah, because you've come a long way since your last tour, which wasn't too long ago.
A year ago, yeah.
This one feels a lot different.
Yeah.
How has it felt different for you?
Oh man, well it's been nice. I feel like I'm like starting to get the beginnings of my voice on stage and understanding like what that is and where I want to go with that. I have definitely learned the basics of stand-up now, and can kind of apply those to like bigger rooms and bigger spaces. And I definitely feel a lot more confident on stage, and like I really like can own the room, which is nice. And it's just been a lot more exciting and enjoyable than the last tour. Like by about this point in the last tour, it'd be like, right, we're gonna go on stage, gonna do it, and then come off stage and I like go on autopilot, which was fun. But like I still get nervous before every show, which didn't happen last time, and that's like, whoa, this is exciting. And every night it's like something new happens every night.
Do you think it's because this one has less of a set structure? Like there's kind of something different happening every night.
Well, last time was like almost like a play. It was like theatre.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, even though my stand-up is quite theatrical, it's stand-up. At least for the first 30. And that is like the most fun thing. I think you can really tell I'm having a lot more fun up there. And it's really, like, really fun.
I think it's really, really contagious for the audience as well.
You think?
Like, I think that they're noticing how much fun, at least we're having on stage,
Yeah.
is like that's when it.
My goal with this one was like, right, the last show was kind of like a story and testing the show and explaining it. This was like, right, I want the audience to just like be laughing as hard as they can. Like I had
Right.
a couple open mic experiences where I'd see performers and they just get the room this momentum of laughter that you don't like. It's not possible on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be in this room full of people and the energy. And my goal for this was I just want the audience to have that. And I really feel like uh from where I'm sat, it feels like they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's moments like when I'm like trying to give someone a panic attack and I like jump off the stage and they all go, ah, I didn't know he could just jump off the stage. It feels like I've like shown everyone that I'm not messing around.
It's fun because I feel like the audience plays a big part in this
Yeah.
performance, a lot more than probably your last tour, where it was like the
Massively,
audience is
yeah.
watching it. But the audience, I mean, like even last night, you came in during intermission to me and were like, all right, maybe a bit more of a mature audience. So like within like 10 or 15 minutes, if you're not feeling the energy, like this is the energy that we should, like we were kind of,
Really, yeah, yeah.
kind of feeling out what is needed. And it's fun to, I think, like make those adjustments in real time and feel like the audience is like a variable and is like a
Yeah.
part in the performance.
I think in my stand up, more so than other things I've seen, the audience are much more like a tool than they are, in
And
someone.
some of them are tools, am I right?
That is horrible to say about my
Sorry.
amazing fans who I love.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think a lot of people would do comparisons to like, at least I would as well because he's one of my inspirations. Like with Bo's stand up, Bo Burnham. If you've seen
Mhm.
his early stuff, like for him, he's on stage and like they're there and
Yeah.
they're watching, and there's no that's it. At least it looks like to me when I'm watching it. Whereas for mine, it's like we're all in this room.
Mhm.
I think because I've done so much YouTube, it's now like what things you can only do live. So I do so much of like, let's a bit where like get the audience to, like carry me through the room. I don't know. It's just such a like euphoric thing.
I feel like
I love it.
it almost has some parallels probably to like how you're used to entertaining for an audience.
Yeah.
You know, like or I guess like with an audience. And audience participation is a big part of a content creator's career. Like they
Yeah.
can kind of an audience can kind of steer things or add things on top of it. It's almost how like FNAF wasn't supposed to have all that lore and like now it does because the fans
You've
did.
been hanging around with MatPat. You have.
Well, now that you mention it, we'll get to MatPat.
Yeah. But no, I think just like I went, I did probably about at the lowest ends like 60 open mics this past year,
Mhm.
and I also went to the Edinburgh Fringe, and in like a week I saw like 22 shows or something. So I've
Wow.
really expanded my reference and my repertoire, and I think a big thing that I took from that was like the audience there. There's nothing to stop me like going up to them and like pulling on someone's arm. Like I don't know. It just suddenly, and I think I started doing that in the open mics. And I could see because you see so many open mics, and you start being like, okay. You first go, be like, I'm going to tell. Oh my god, I got this hilarious joke about like that time that like I did a poo at school and everyone found out.
Mhm.
And then you go to 5 open mics and you realize everyone's telling that same sort of story.
Right.
And so for me, it was about like at least doing something that feels unique to me and is cutting through that. And when I started doing the open mics and started doing this weird shit that I found funny, then I noticed the reception that people were having was like, oh shit. Because
Mhm.
my goal is like I was told this is it's one thing being able to make my audience laugh, and like the second half is kind of fan service where I mentioned fucking Dream and Logan Paul and they were all
Mhm.
excited, but
Because they love them.
but like they love and I love a reference to things I love.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I love
yeah.
talking about like Marvel or whatever. But like when you're making like anyone laugh,
Mhm.
that's the beauty spot. And what I've noticed in the first half is like I'm seeing my audience laugh really hard, but like I'm also seeing the parents laugh really hard,
Mhm,
and that's
mhm.
like, oh, okay, that's pretty. And again, I'm at the very, very, very beginning of this, and I've got a long way to go, but it's nice just starting to see the foundation of it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a great foundation,
Oh,
a
thank
great
you.
start, a great audience that is like
It's amazing. It's like I've been gifted like a rock and roll crowd,
yeah.
but I'm a stand up, so it's amazing using their energy. Like I know I do this fucking weird, ironic bit where I'm always like, I love my fans at the moment, but like they really are the best.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the energy that they bring to then like play with. Oh my
It
god,
gives you
it's
so much room to do whatever you
so
want.
much room to like, and my problem I always have is maybe they're a little too energetic and it's containing them. What
Yeah.
a great problem to have that
Yeah.
no other performer in comedy does. It's
Right.
like amazing. Yeah, I know we talked about stand up a lot in the last one of these we did, so it's probably
It's probably cool to see
that was
the
many
growth.
months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was October, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is wow. And this has been like my how many months ago is that? Like 8 months.
You've like been through like the great winter.
In it, yeah, that's one way to. Yeah, but this 8 months has been like the most like creative development I feel like I've ever done in 8 months.
Yeah.
It's really been quite significant 8 months for me. So
That's
this is
awesome.
quite exciting.
That's cool to be a part of,
Well, I'm
your
so
journey
glad
in
you've done
some
it, man.
way.
It's been you smash it on stage.
It's been seriously like a dream come true. Like actually
Aw, thank you, man.
being back on the stage. I mean, like, I'm a simple guy. I just need a couple hundred people cheering my name every
Yeah, I
once in
get
a
you.
while.
I get you, man.
Um,
We really don't ask a lot, do we?
no,
No,
not
not at all.
really. Just if they keep it down every once in a while,
Yeah,
really.
just sometimes they get a bit too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a
No,
simple
but
guy.
I haven't been on the stage since like my senior year of high school, and I've realized how much easier this is for me than posting online.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true for everyone who goes from social media to this, but like, I've been doing theater since second or third grade,
Sure.
and I I I know that I'm showing up in a room of people who are going to immediately respond. What I'm saying isn't existing forever, and I'm not going to hear the individual's opinions of every single person in the audience.
That's the thing. I can't. The idea. We should start doing this.
Mhm.
The idea that online, anyone who thinks anything, you get to read it. Why would I do? What the? Why would you do that?
I
Like, if someone doesn't like something, they pull a little face. It's much like that's how it should be. I don't want everyone to tell me everything.
I was talking about this on another episode recently about it's like how a toddler speaks with like they can just say their true honest opinion without
Yeah.
any repercussions because it's like they're not going to get in trouble. Like people do the same thing online, but you're not going to do that in person to someone.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay away from that. You know what I mean? It's like,
How is like touring and performing and has it changed your relationship with social media?
yeah, it's really strengthened and almost like, I'm not sure if disillusion's the right word, but completely got rid of it's really strengthened my relationship between me and my audience, and it's really made me go. It's really made it clear why I don't like social media and why I'm not using that anymore, and it kind of affirms that.
It's easy to like look at what when I don't like social media, I'm like, oh man, I don't like sharing the stuff that I'm making with people. But it's like a lot of times I just don't like the means that I'm having to do it by. Like I really
Yeah.
like being able to make people laugh still, but it's so much
Yeah,
there's so much more relief or I don't know, there's so much less pressure I feel like for me personally when it's on a stage.
it's just a totally different thing. You know what I mean? And I think it's it's when it stops being sort of content and starts being something a bit more and more artful that I'm very interested in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. And I don't know, it's like, I'm not sure if I'm answering the right question here, but I feel like I've been doing these meet and greets every day,
Mhm.
and where I like meet my audience, and so many of them have been like, I've been watching you for like 5 years. It's mad,
Mhm.
and it's sick. I just really feel like there's something, and I feel like over the past 8 months I've really built that. But like, because like when I first did your podcast, that was quite, for me, it was like, oh wow, I'm really relaxed.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if like, what are they gonna think? Oh, I'm not being Tommy in it. And now I'm like, that's like dead. That idea. I don't
Wow.
have to like, I can just do this, and I don't. This feels normal.
That's awesome. That's a lot of progress.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. It's a good thing all those bad things happened to you.
It really is. It's awesome, isn't it? Yeah, I'm so happy.
More of that in 2025.
Yeah, that'd be sick, man. No, but you know what though? It is easy to like. I sometimes feel a little bit bad, like I've sort of spun a bit of a narrative of like, oh, everything's so hard for me and it's all I'm miserable. But like, I have had a sick time. Like
Yeah.
I am doing a world tour and
Yeah.
performing every night, and like I'm not. This is wicked.
Yeah. I mean, both things can be true.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how long do you have left in the tour?
Another month.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's a month in feeling? Tired?
Yeah, it's the
Pussy. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say
the
that.
shows are like amazing. That bit's awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes hanging out is awesome when I'm not really tired. But I'm just tired all the time. Like, and you know how I can do this thing where I just like curl up into a ball and
Yeah.
just sleep. And like Aaron and Jack call it fast travel because whenever we have a 5-hour journey, I curl up and I sleep for 4 hours. But it's just like I've never been this exhausted, and so
Yeah.
I'm just like sleeping all the time.
Well, it's
And sometimes it's a little lonely in like the car or in the hotel room, but like most of the time it's this weird thing of like just euphoria and then like you bicep
yeah,
and then it
the epic
like
highs and lows.
yeah. So it's been nice to like beforehand read lots of like Steve Martin or Springsteen talking about that, so I like was braced for it.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard for the brain, I think, because you get done after a show, and then like the adrenaline crash, and then you get like a second wave right
yeah.
before you're supposed to go to bed, and then you have to be up in the morning to get
It's
in a
weird.
car, and it's probably one of the hardest lives that someone can live.
Genuinely, I think the working class are such complainers
Yeah, they should
compared
try
to
going on tour.
they can switch it off when they get home. Not me. Not
Like,
me. I'm always on.
right. Imagine if they had to go around to like, someone who's working at a gas station had to go on like a bunch of different
Coy,
speedways
coy.
in
They
a.
just couldn't. They're not built for this like we are.
You're right. You're right.
Never say that.
I'm sorry to even try to make the comparison
Never
around you. It
say
was
that.
just a thought experiment, and I thought it'd be a little bit fun. You were talking about fan interactions. If you had any like crazy ones, anything that stuck out to you,
Um.
I can go first if you want, because I went to one of your meet and greets the other day.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, well, someone came up to me and was like, "Hi, Koi. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Do you sign arms?" I was like,
Oh yeah.
sign. Do you sign arms? Like it's like something that you
Yeah.
do on occasion. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then it was really really terrible. It didn't even look like my name. And then I was like, I tried to make a little joke out of it. I was like, not very well apparently. And then they were like, oh, that's okay. And then they take a picture of it, and she goes, for reference. I was like, for reference for what? She's like, I'm gonna get it tattooed.
I signed her arm just before you.
Yeah, we're right next to each other.
Yeah, no,
gonna
we're on
be
we're on their
we're
arm.
gonna
They're
be
gonna
on
be
our
like
arm
80.
now.
Like, why did I fucking do this?
And then yeah, and then they saw like the horror in my face and were like, "It's okay, I have a ton of tattoos." I was like, "Well, as long as it doesn't mean anything."
I think it was that same meet and greet. I had someone come up to me. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" They were like, "Hey, good." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Let's get a photo." And we got the photo, and then they were like, "I'm gonna pick you up now." And I was like, "Okay." And then they picked me up, and there was a wall, and they kind of my head bashed into the wall, and I went, "Ow!" And they went, yeah, "Sorry." I went, "All right."
You were making dreams come true.
that was pretty
though.
weird. that was a good one. But for me, the weirdest bit always is when I'm in like bumfuck nowhere in the middle of America at like a Buc-ee's, and I don't know where.
Bookies.
And I had one. I actually didn't know what a Busey's or whatever it's called, or like a
Oh,
gas station.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah, but some people call it Busey's, bastards.
What a
But I was like in the
Busey's?
middle of fucking nowhere, and I'm like tired, and I've just got from a nap, and I actually don't know where on the planet I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone goes, "Are you TommyInnit?" That's the one that always gets me, and I go, I don't know where I am, and you know that, and that's happened. Or again, you just get a real sense of how big the world is, and then it
Mhm.
also really changes. It really changes my talking about social media. You know, even the idea of like having like 10 viewers. When I
Mhm.
was like a kid, I was like, oh, I've got 10 viewers. But when you think about it, it's like this many people. Like one's over there in the world, one's there, one's there.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was all like fucking my 5 mile radius in Nottingham. I thought that's as big as the world was. And then I thought, okay, it's London and Brighton, and it's pretty big, and that's enough. Then you go to these huge cities, and there's like hundreds of people, and they're all wearing my merch. They've all got stories, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? And then you're like, hang on, but what? This has been like 20,000 people on tour in total.
Wow.
But then there's a fucking like, I had like 600,000 on a stream, and then you're suddenly like, what the fuck's going on? And then you just start being like, what the fuck is happening? What has happened these past 5 years? What? Hang on. What?
It's
It just starts freaking me out, and I'm
It's
just
cool to
like,
see.
oh,
It's cool to see that feeling doesn't wear off. You just kind of forget, and then like
You
and
forget
then
and then remember.
randomly every so often it'll just like become real
This is.
again.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Oh,
That's
you're
all good.
okay.
Oh, I think we're good. Yeah, but thank you though.
Thanks so
No
much.
worries.
No
No worries
worries.
at all.
Probably have them fired if that's okay.
Yeah, cool. But what was I saying? It is. It does. This has been the first year where it's, and this is mad, and it's took me like 4 years to get here. Like it does feel normal now,
Mm.
and that's ridiculous. Like, I have this many people like coming to my, and I'm like, this is my life. I think because there's been so many things that have been also so abnormal that it's almost like trumped that. But
Mhm.
like, I definitely made it so that I'm more relaxed around the idea of having a fan base and what that means and what my relationship to all of this is and where my responsibilities are. I'm
Mm.
definitely understanding that a lot more.
Wow.
I didn't feel that profound, but you looked quite
No, I had a train of thought
okay.
before that person came
Sorry.
in and I lost it. No, that's okay.
You're looking like I just said like the best point ever, and I was like,
No, I was
it
just
was like a
thinking really hard on
4
it.
out of 10
I
point.
had a thread to close or something.
Okay, no,
But
I get
also
it.
what you said was really, really
Was
good,
it really
Tom.
profound?
It was
Okay.
really honestly smart and I could repeat it back to you if I remembered it. I had
Oh
another
yeah,
story that it's not that
it's not that good,
it's
but
not that
okay,
good.
I'm ready. No, it's fine.
It's honestly one of my worst. It's probably pretty boring. You can probably fast forward through this one if you want to. But we got to we got to fill the time
I'm
somehow.
ready.
Well, I was in a place called Dave's Hot Chicken and I
Mm.
was eating some chicken. And then I went to the
Hot.
bathroom. Yep, it was hot. I went to the bathroom. And this is where the story gets good or kind of all right, I guess. And and I go to the toilet and as I'm going in, like a bunch of heads turn and they were obviously like getting dinner after the show and they go, "Yeah, that's him." And then in like this incredulous tone as I was like closing the bathroom door, I just hear, "Huh, he's in Dave's Hot Chicken."
That's like, that. No, that is great. That's not good, man.
Thank you, thank you. And I came out and they were like, "Oh, amazing show," but it was just them being like in disbelief that I
Huh? He's in Dave's Hot Chicken.
not only could I not hear them, but I also couldn't be someone to be in a Dave's Hot Chicken.
I had the. I tell you what, you reminded me of a good one. Is the other morning in the hotel. We were staying in a hotel kind of far from the venue. 3 viewers who were in TommyInnit merch who had the VIPs the day after the show. The lift door opened to just me stood in the lift, and they all went, ah! Like, imagine you open a lift and I'm stood there like, hello, fans! And they were like, what the fuck? And I was like, come on in. They were like really freaked out. It's like I recognized them.
That's
It was
so
like
funny.
3 of them and they were like jarred. And then another guy got in the lift and I was like, well, this is weird, isn't it? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then the guy was there. That was a really good one.
Wow, it's crazy. I mean, obviously we've talked about it so much how different it is from like in-person fans to online, but everything feels so real but also so much simpler
Yeah.
somehow where it's like, "Oh, I I make these people laugh. I give these people entertainment and they show up."
Yeah,
And
I
that's
like
what
it.
it is,
Yeah.
and I feel like walking out on stage, like, during my introduction, and everyone's just, like, so excited for me to be on the stage, going
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, like, it is I, like, had a moment the first show that we did where I was like, "I don't know why I don't think people like me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Why has social media convinced me that
It's
this isn't
crazy, isn't it?
like, I have, like, thousands of followers on every platform I could ask for, and still it's like it's like it's like always miserable
Yeah.
for some reason, you know? But like walking out there, I'm like, oh, it's so simple when you think about it. And this is who I'm making this stuff for. And
Yeah.
all of the other people that aren't the ones that would be sitting there cheering for me, they're not they don't matter.
I think it gets rid of a
And
lot
they're
of
probably
the
inferior to me. Sorry.
I think it gets rid of a lot of the ego associated, which is it's real, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just like there's people and you're here and you're doing your job and they're watching you and it's like, cool. This
Yeah.
is it's a straightforward relationship. I
Yeah.
love it. I just oh man. Talking about it makes me realize how much I love it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's awesome.
Yeah. It's been cool to find someone in the space that likes comedy in this way. I don't know. There aren't many people making the transition that you're doing. It's
Thanks.
bold, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of study and a lot of respect for the craft. Even
Thank
though
you.
I mean, like, it is unserious, but it is serious.
There's a Bruce quote of, I take my fun very seriously.
Okay.
That's what it's like
Oh,
now.
that's
I mean,
I take my fun very
I take my
seriously.
fun very seriously.
That's
yeah,
nice. That's
me.
good.
Yeah, no, I just like. Well, I'm just lucky I found it, man. Because a lot of people. It's one thing to have a dream, and then another fucking ridiculous thing to make it come true.
Mm-hmm.
But then to find another thing while being an adult, and there's not, you're not like a kid anymore with wide eyes and everything looks exciting. Like you can see everything for what it is, and then to still be like, oh my god, there's this thing that I really want to do, and it fills up my heart. Just feel very, very lucky. So and I'm very thankful that my audience are like up for it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine if my dream was fucking making like heavy metal.
Or like hydration drinks.
Yeah, if that was my dream. But do you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Like it's just as all aligned really well, and I'm just very fortunate for how it's, seems to all be turning out for me.
Yeah. I feel very fortunate as well, and especially meeting MatPat. Yeah.
YouTube really gone.
That was a really big. I was like, wow, I maybe can do anything I put my mind to. Because I'm sitting having a conversation about Escape the Night season 3 with
Yeah.
MatPat.
Those moments, man, are the best, aren't they?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And what a guy,
Yeah.
by the way. What an awesome. He's one of those like legend icons.
He's one
that,
of the
like-
few YouTubers that lives up to it.
Yes.
Yeah, most of
I
them
was
don't, but
scared
he
to
really
meet
does.
him, but then
Nah, he lives up to it.
but he was so cool and so interested in what I do, and
He's the
and
best.
and so invested in your show. He's showing up for one day and he's like,
Amazing. He read the whole script and he was like telling me like what he what he thought the narrative was and how interesting he thought it was. It was so sick.
he's like, so is this man versus world or man versus self?
In it, and you're like, I don't know, MatPat. I just thought it was all right.
You're like, honestly, it's just something I kind of wrote down. I
It
thought
was
funny.
though. I was like, I don't know.
What did he say? He was like,
He was like, so in the middle of it, that's when like you finally recognize that maybe this has been trauma, and by the end of it, you learn to live with your trauma.
He's
And
like, so
that's
this
the moral
he
of the
said
story.
He said it like it was something that He was like, so obviously the show is about learning to live with your trauma,
I was
right?
like-
And you were like,
All right, yeah, that adds up.
yes, it is, MatPat. Thank you. And you said, what was it? Learning to live.
Yeah, no, but I'm just not. I didn't think about the second half through that lens. I mean, I did obviously, but not to in. Well, he's a theatre lad, isn't he? He's MatPat, so he thinks
Yeah.
about it more narratively than I would think about it as just where are the jokes and how could it be that. I just think about it through a very different lens. So it was very like energizing and exciting and like mind blowing, really, to hear him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he puts in the fucking hard day's work, does MatPat?
Yeah. I mean, he was ready to put in the work on stage.
Bro, oh my god,
He
mate.
wanted to.
MatPat peer pressuring me to kiss. That was a moment where I'm on stage and MatPat's like making every line deliver it as gay as he can. Who knows why?
Hey, that's just how he
No.
talks.
No. There was one line he like started undressing, and I was like, MatPat, how you are taking some creative liberty here. And then he fucking like keeps leaning in to kiss me. Then the audience is like, kiss. There's a moment where you've got on your left, you got MatPat leaning in. You got the audience going, kiss, MatPat, kiss. And I'm sitting here, I don't want to kiss MatPat. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just went. I think I was like, Matt, I'm not gay. I'm not gay, MatPat.
I don't think you have to be gay to kiss MatPat.
Nah.
No.
No, I'm sorry. I'm really like back there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not living with my trauma, man. It's consuming me.
I see the panic in your eyes again.
No, it was so scary.
Because they just
Well, imagine like hundreds of ravenous people yearning for you to like. They
Yeah.
could never have a go at me for queer
That
baiting.
sounds like a nightmare. Hundreds of people pressuring me to kiss MatPat.
No, yearning for you to kiss MatPat. MatPat's there. He's brought up the kiss so many times. You know you're going to have to kiss MatPat at some point tonight. If you don't do it, the show's narrative isn't going to be complete.
Right.
You know you have to kiss MatPat.
And it's all
You
about the
don't want
narrative
him.
with MatPat,
Yeah,
too.
oh, and you know it's all about the narrative. You know if you come off stage and you haven't kissed MatPat, he'll be disappointed. He'll
And that
know.
kiss is actually a symbol of you recognizing that you can live with your trauma.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you don't do the kiss, then
And
the
you're,
show's
and you're
narrative
looking
isn't
out and they're all
complete.
going, kiss, kiss, kiss. And you're like, but you don't want to kiss MatPat.
Actually, this is a dream I've had.
And and then you do in the end. Well, I gave him a little kiss on the cheek,
Yeah.
but I thought, sort of a compromise.
Yeah.
And he would have glipsed. He would have
Oh,
lipped.
he was ready.
He would have done tongue, mate. He would have. He would have fucking got right in there, and you're like, oh my god. Do you know what it was like? It was like a nightmarish fan fiction I was living in.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible.
I mean, that's your life, though.
No, this particularly
Yeah.
was like felt rote. It was so weird. It was so surreal. It was awesome. Because
Wow.
it was a smaller room, New York. It was like 300.
Yeah.
Like it was only 300, but it was like a physically smaller
Yeah,
room
there was
as
like
well.
barely anyone there.
But it was like a physically little room.
Yeah, so it's very.
So you really felt
It was
the
intimate.
intensity of the queer baiting coming from the audience.
And it was like a bunch of NYU students that.
Yeah,
Like,
horny NYU students who just want to see TommyInnit and MatPat make out as a sweet release, living vicariously through me. My awful horny
Sweet
fans,
release.
my horrible horny New York fans, Coy, dirty gay perverts, the lot of them.
Speaking of kissing MatPat, you talk a lot about your bi curiosity on the internet. So you're
I did a year ago.
so
A year
bi
ago.
curious, if I'm getting the definition right, you're kind of like a pervert who likes to imagine things.
In it.
Yeah.
Here's what happened, right? Last year, all this shit went horrible. Really, really bad.
What do you mean?
And I was just like, in the middle of I was like in this stage.
Yeah.
But imagine things had gone a lot worse. And I was like, maybe I'm gay.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
if
always the rock
if
bottom.
I really, really work. I'm like, I'm not really bothered, man. I've been out and I've thought,
You've been
yeah,
out.
I've been out,
You've been out for how many years?
No, not out as in gay, but no. But when it's like, but like, I just have never felt the urge.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm just like, I can't be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a whole thing if I go
Yeah.
and experiment, and if I do this.
It's gonna
and
be
then
a whole like thing for your career if you want those tickets to sell.
I'm gonna have to think about it, and then and I'm comfortable in this straight lane for now.
Yeah.
And maybe one day there'll be another divorce. And then I'll go, all right,
Another divorce.
let's just fucking get it over with. But this
Yeah.
isn't, I'm around a lot of gay people, a lot. And they don't talk about it like this. They're a little more enthusiastic, which makes me think I'm not bisexual. Because I have no urge.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty damning.
Yeah.
It is kind of about the
That's
urge.
bad for my case.
It's either Well, I respect.
But I thought I was.
I respect in your
Had I have been
sureness.
single a year ago, I probably would have tried it. But now I'm single and I'm less bothered.
You want what you can't have.
I think it might be that, I'm just like, I don't really.
Well, I respect your sureness in yourself that you're a coward.
Thank you. But I'm just not like. If I am, that's all right. But I don't. If I am, I'll let you know.
Okay, I need to. Yeah. Do you have like a list of like emergency contacts?
Yeah, I do. But I just.
If you find it out, let me know. But you're coming back on the podcast for a third time because I need that clip.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I'll tell it first here. But I've
Um,
thought about it. Don't worry. I've been single for long enough. I've thought about it.
What do you mean you've thought about it? Like, what are you thinking?
Shall I have a go? What?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
And then I think, I'll play it safe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like going to like a seafood restaurant and getting like chicken nuggets. Like someone who doesn't like seafood. Like just
I live in Brighton. Do you know what I
with the
mean?
shrimp.
It would be where
You gotta start with the shrimp.
Is
Start easy.
the conditions are perfect.
Yeah.
I live in Brighton. That's it, really. But I just am not.
Mm.
I've thought, should I have a go?
Those aren't the only conditions. I've seen how you walk. You got a little bounce, dude.
Like a little bounce. I just don't know, Coy. Do you think I should be out there fucking chowing down on it?
Yeah, I could see you chowing.
I don't think I should, man.
That's okay. Well,
I just want a hug.
okay. I think that comes first then.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Got
Well,
quite sad, didn't it? There,
yeah.
but yeah, it could be a man hug. It's got his man willy out.
Oh,
Yeah.
big gay hug. A big gay hug with two big gay arms around you
Oh man,
by a man who's gay.
I think Kurt from Glee is attractive, but I don't like. Okay, I noticed we've gone quite quiet at that.
Were you waiting for me to
I was
interject?
hoping you'd, yeah. I like when we were asking me introspective questions about comedy and not.
I thought I'd throw that one
Yeah,
in there
yeah.
just
Because I just
to
get, I
up a little
can't
bit.
not stop talking, especially when I'm like this tired.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know. Jack would have moved me on by now. Usually when we're doing our podcast, we have someone in the room that goes, "Let's move it on."
Oh, okay.
Not here, not on couch surfing.
Yeah, I fired all my people. Well, you've been described as the antidote to Andrew Tate.
But I have a bold claim.
Bold claim.
It's true. Andrew Tate wouldn't be sat here being like, maybe.
No, he'd be like, absolutely not.
No.
But he's doing it.
He's come on, he's
Because
gay.
he's no coward.
In it.
He's no coward. He gets what he wants.
No one outwardly is like, I love women so much. I have sex with women. He doesn't say I love, but he's like, I have sex with women so much.
Mhm.
Oh, he's gay.
Yeah, that's like that's the number one symptom of being gay is having sex with women.
No, but come
Yeah.
on. Do you not think he's gay?
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
He
I
looks
do.
gay.
Do you see those robes?
He does though.
He's not just giving gay. He's giving like gay rich uncle who like you visit every once in a while, and he's like, oh, let me put the dogs up because they're dangerous.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's so gay.
Yeah, he's very gay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like the antidote to Andrew.
Because I'm not gay.
But you are woke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How does that feel? There's a lot of power in that title. Of being like,
Isn't it? I'm
of
not,
being
not
like,
even.
you're saving the younger generation.
It sounds like
from toxic masculinity.
like a self-proclaimed bit, but it's not.
No.
A mainstream British newspaper proclaimed me
You're
as the antidote.
Sir woke.
I couldn't believe. I woke up. It was 4 a.m. for my mum, and I was about to go in to see this Michael Cera film in San Francisco alone. My mum FaceTimes me going, "You got to see this, Tom." She links me. That Times article's come out, Tom, and guess what? You did well, kid. And I was like, really? And I read it. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like about to go, and then I'd switch off my phone and go watch Michael Cera do a road trip for 2 hours, and I come back out and read the full thing, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it makes sense. You're like
I'll take it, man.
you're punching up at the guys that are.
I've gotten a little. It's been a full-on 8 months. It's been the Great Winter.
It's been
as
the
it will be,
the
as it's
great-
now been, as it should be dubbed in the TommyInnit canon. The Great
The
Winter.
Great Winter. I
The
did.
Great Winter of 2024 to 2055. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, you came out.
Lots have happened in this Great Winter, Coy.
Yeah.
Beginning with Logan Paul, and end. I guess it's kind of ended now. This is the end of the Great Winter.
Let's do it again this year.
Oh please, no! I fully am like I can't do that again.
No.
I would have to like go to LA where it's sunny. I just can't.
Mm.
I actually cannot do another Great Winter. I will put all of my power to not have this winter again.
How long was that? How long is like the winter in the UK?
It kind of starts in November and ends in like March, April. But I'd say the Great Winter in canon, if we're canonizing my life.
Right. Which is just the evil, bad, dark
Probably
period of your life.
it probably began in like August when I went to the YouTube summit. That's when the first Square video was made, and when we had our first podcast.
Mm.
It was about that. That is tracing back. That's when I started having the symptoms of depression.
Okay.
That was actually sick, man. That is like, that's just going to make such an embarrassing clip. It's just like, oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that was great, man. Sorry.
Well, I was actually thinking about like your like
bring
drama
it
and controversy that like
Yeah.
you went through with the like
back. With all of
bros
them.
of the internet,
Yeah.
the masculine men, the based giga chads. People
Sure.
still saying giga
No,
chad.
they're not. No. But-
Sorry. And it's interesting to see. I feel like you're a lot. You can tell even from an outside perspective, a lot more unbothered by it than that group of
Yeah,
guys. And I feel like, do you think that some of that? Well, some of that's to do with like your audience and your security in your audience. I feel like that
yeah.
you've had, but also like, do you think that this passion for live performance and something away from social media has given you more freedom to be like, oh, this isn't everything, like it might be for
Exactly
them?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had when I was, what, 15, 16, I really wanted this to come true and to meet all these amazing YouTubers, and I met them, and it all came true.
Mhm.
And then I was like 17, and then a couple of years of like, well, what now?
Mhm.
And that was quite unsettling for a while. Obviously, I had an amazing time, but I really am someone who thrives when he has I really work well with structure and a goal, and
Mhm.
not having that and feeling kind of aimless was very disconcerting for me. So then to find, after a lot of hard work and trying a lot of new things, not to wank myself off there, but to toot my own horn, but
Right.
like, and then so I don't know why not to wank myself off. Anyway, sorry, but
Is that a thing people
no,
say?
it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know why I said that, but yeah, and then finding stand up, and then over years, now it's like, oh, I have a God, I know where I'm headed, and I
Mhm.
know the people I want to be like, and it's not like this. And now I know this is where I'm going, and I'm actually like making progress, albeit small steps. But like over a year, I've gone this far, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm getting to where I want to be.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I feel like I really have my audience, and I did so much reading, man, like for 2 years of really reading like every autobiography, especially last year, to try and like make sense of it all and make
You
sense of what you do afterwards. I
you
was like
love
Hamilton.
a book about a white man.
Old white guy books, mate.
A black and white cover,
In it,
some
it's
white
all I
guy
have.
in a
Some
black
white
suit.
guy who's like an 80-year-old comedian. I've read like every one of them, but it really that gave me a lot of perspective and clarity,
Mm.
and I learned a lot of. I think about my relationship with my audience. One I keep thinking about is from Springsteen of as long as you're just honest with your audience, they'll stick by you and they'll
Mm.
know. And I really took a lot of those and practiced those. So now I have a goal. I think at some point I kind of consciously went, or unconsciously was like, well, I don't need to. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not going to be doing the way I'm doing this in like a couple years.
Yeah.
And that came across in like I think good ways, and that my contents became a lot more, I guess, true to me and experimental, and trying to grow in at least some sort of artistic direction. But then in well, I don't need to fucking pretend to be your mate anymore.
Wait, who?
Not you, just like general.
Okay, right.
You not yeah, but like you put up with a lot of shit. Oh, you must have got so
That
anxious
was
then.
so
So
scary.
sorry.
That's
But
okay.
like you don't have to like. There's a lot of things where you're like, oh well, I want to fit in, so I can. I guess I can turn a blind eye to this, and that's like not good.
You don't want to
And
leave
so I
any
was like, well,
bridge
I'm not
burned. Yeah.
doing this anymore. I can just say what I want. And then I
Mhm.
started doing that, and it was very freeing.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'll fucking. And I think Jack said this to me. I think I confused a lot of friendships with business relationships when I was younger. And I think because when you're like, there was a bit where I was like everywhere, and then everyone was mates with me, and then a couple of years go by, you're not everywhere, and then everyone stops being your mate, and I found that quite like I was very unsettled by that. I
Mm.
think I guess, a very different value system.
Right.
Like I was very like, what's happening? I don't understand. So I think then being like, oh, they were like business relationships. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I can fucking say what I want.
That's so difficult to discern.
It was unnerving. Not all of them were,
Yeah.
but a lot. You're like, oh, okay, so if I wasn't getting 20 million views on my video, you don't want to give me the same amount of time as when I did. And I find that quite,
So you're not getting 20 million
I'm
views.
not, no.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
But
This has
you
been
know
a
what I mean,
lot
though?
of
It was
fun.
like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
lucky I had so many good people around me that you could, like, spot the difference. But I guess that just made me a little more, and everything that happened, I guess, I was like, well, I'm doing this now. I know where I'm going. I don't have to, like, lie, fib.
Yeah. It's probably a lot easier to make truer friends off the bat when you're doing the thing that you love and then being honest to
Yeah.
yourself and the people around you.
Yeah. And I definitely also just noticed my audience appreciated me not, at least being a little more outspoken, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. And I definitely, it's very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what's like keeping you inspired right now?
What do you mean?
Um, like what are you getting excited about? Where does a lot of like your inspiration? I know you listen to a lot of music, you read a lot of books. Like what's keeping you motivated? What kind of things are like giving you ideas and
Mm. Um, a lot of music
yeah.
does. Quite intensely. It's not that thing of I used to like watch YouTubers and be like, oh my god, maybe one day I could be like them.
Mhm.
And then I got to that and it was like, holy shit, like I can. And now I'm like looking at musicians or looking at TV or comedians and being like, oh my god, one day I can be like them. And now I'm like, oh my god, I actually could. And
Yeah.
if I really work like it, I could be like as quick witted and talented as, Bo or John Mulaney or Steve Martin. The idea that like that's possible,
Yeah.
which I didn't know it even was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't watch people on the telly and be like, that could be me. But I would watch someone who's playing the same game as me and acting the same way as me and be like, that could be me. So that's very like, I
And
guess,
it works.
what do you
Like
mean?
looking, I mean, it worked for YouTube for you to like look at YouTubers and
Yeah,
be like, oh, that could be
it's
me.
great.
And now you
Yeah.
know that that belief isn't like
Now I'm like, oh, well, that's not bullshit. So now that's very motivating. I don't know, man. I think a lot of music, a lot of, you know, do you know what? I'm not even dry on inspiration. Inspiration for me is flooding out the gates at a fucking rapid rate at the
mhm,
moment. It's more so, I guess, taking down anything that could like block that, and then also I'm just like tired. Is my more my
right.
energy is more managing that
What kind
because
of things do you think block that for you?
I think I've still got a lot of. Well, I know I'm still. I spent like 7 years just constantly thinking about content and making content,
Right.
which kind of is in linked with how many views am I getting? How do I get more views? How do I do that? That's has taken and still is taking quite the legwork to kind of unwire that and change that.
Right.
Um, which is probably a lot of my time is quite introspective and self-reflective, thinking about that, trying to kind of have different ways to think about stuff.
Mhm.
Um, which isn't fun, but I know it's like work I want to do. And then
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of the work in this job is like introspective,
it's quite a weird
self-reflective, and getting through the great winter and
yeah
yeah, that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
which is probably just solved by like I kind of know it's solved by just having a bit more of a life and going out and being a bit more of a person. But like, it's the great winter, and now when I get back, look, when I get back, I'm having a month and I'm just fucking taking it easy.
Yeah.
And then I'll, and going and doing open mics and having fun, and that's what I'm doing. But just in terms of inspiration, for the record,
Right.
Springsteen's Born to Run, basically all of the Springsteen discography, Sam Fender, Bo Burnham's 3 specials, especially Steve Martin's earliest work. He has this special live at the Troubadour. I just love it. John Mulaney, his new thing, Everybody's Live, he's just amazing.
That's on Netflix,
SNL,
right?
yeah, SNL is like my favorite thing. Like, I love SNL. Um, this Beach Boys album, Pet Sounds, I've listened to a lot of. A lot of old music I've always loved, like Kai Dreams. Like, I'm just bouncing between. I spend so much time with I sort of love movies. I just like anything with a fucking A24 logo. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This tour has been a really big source of inspiration for me.
Really.
Um, yeah, I mean, probably
Also, the
only
audience and like doing the show every night is
yeah,
very inspiring and
yeah, yeah,
energizing,
yeah.
and you're like, well,
Mine isn't the show so much as it is that one conversation I had with MatPat is
sure.
I think is enough to carry me through the
Yeah.
rest of my
No, I
career.
get it.
No, but like being on the stage again, and I have a lot of goals for the next few years of like doing live performance and stand up and starting to get into some like musical comedy stuff again. And
Yeah, you're
this
built
is
for it.
yeah, I mean like this is just reminding me that um I can do it, you know.
I did the show with Schlatt and sort of seeing the like spark behind his eyes after the show of like, oh shit. It's
Yeah.
it's really inspiring and energizing for me, like how much it rubs off on the people I've done it with.
Yeah.
Like Jack Sucks at Life was, quite nervous. He's not done anything like it. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Daniel Howell was just fucking just had the audience by the palm of his hand. Schlatt was incredible, and just like how you could really go, Oh yeah, I've just watched a fucking canon event in his life happen. I've just like
Yeah,
made that.
yeah,
Like MatPat as well. Sort of, I mean, even doing it
yeah.
with you every night and seeing how much you're. It is a different performance from everyone. Jack is just so comfortable on stage and so good, and we have
Mhm,
such a unspoken rapport that we can. You get to the point with someone you perform with for so long. Like me and Jack, we can like communicate in like facial expressions,
mhm.
and that's quite crazy to be at that point with someone.
That's so
Um,
fun.
I don't know. I that's been very inspiring.
Mhm.
Seeing it, I guess, yeah, inspire and like energize other people.
You mentioned that like it's different every night with all the different guests.
Yeah,
How has like your I don't know how to word this question, but I guess like me being here as opposed to Jack being here for a
yeah,
week has probably changed the vibe of everything a
yeah,
lot. Not only the shows, but also just like who's in the car for
yeah,
hours and hours a day and like how your mood is.
yeah.
That's interesting for it to be
Yeah,
because
that's a big.
you were talking to Maya the other day, which is
Yeah, my said this thing. I think I've noticed I'm basically like a bit of a humor chameleon. Who I'm with, I kind of mirror their humor
mhm.
to try and make them laugh. I think I years ago, like 2020, someone made this video, and I'll never forget it because it was the best title ever, which was called "What Makes Tommy in It So Funny." Oh yes, of course I watched it. How
Wait,
do you
you met them,
how do
didn't
you
you?
not click on? It was like this. Yeah, he's like a guy in the community now, Evan.
Oh, I was thinking of the other one of
That's different. Yeah, yeah.
okay,
Anyway,
different.
he said in that something like, "I have a different vibe with each person I'm with,"
Mm,
and I think it's very been nice to be with you and have a different energy with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So are you telling the
What makes
truth to
Tommy
me
in it so
ever?
funny? What a fucking brilliant. Oh my god! Thank you, man. Oh, what? Can you call this video that? What makes Tommy in it so funny too?
Oh, that would be
Oh,
good.
I,
Actually, that would
oh,
be so good.
love that.
That would be really
Oh,
good.
God, what a fucking.
Y-
I've got a problem, man.
Yeah, that was really
I've got
scary
a
to
problem. I've got
watch,
a problem.
honestly.
We sort of watched. Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Well, I see your humor like slowly turn more
I really copy yours.
derpy.
Yeah, I do
Or
yours.
you it's really I was
Well,
talking
this
about,
just happened.
yeah. Me and Rhea Blub Blub, friend of the pod, has
Cool.
was on we she was just here last night and we were talking about how like it's really funny how you mimic and kind of mirror a lot of like our derpy humor, but it's like a British person doing it.
Yeah.
And so it's like really funny, but not in the way that you're intending for it to be, but it still is just so funny
You
because
said
it's like a
something to me
different.
last night, which was
Oh
like,
yeah, you wrote it
I
down. I
wrote it
remember.
down because I was like, that's awesome. You said, what was it you said?
I think I said what's so funny about you is your persistence to be funny.
Yeah. I just
Like
don't. I just keep going until someone laughs.
yeah. And sometimes something just like isn't funny, but
Yeah.
you're like still
Well, I just
making
keep going.
yourself laugh. And I think that
Oh,
that's very true about your entire career. You're very dedicated, very persistent,
I am
very
very persistent.
yeah.
Thank you.
I mean like you have goals and you set out after them and you go get them and you're starting a new chapter that you're doing great at
Thanks, man.
already so far and
We should do one of these like every like 6 months, like 8 months. We just catch up.
that
Like,
should just be the
it's a nice
podcast.
little like yeah. It's a nice little like where is Tom now?
Yeah.
Checkpoint. Yeah. No, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot, man. It's like I don't know. It's all quite weird from my shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems normal to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not, I'm far above normal. You are talking to the antidote to Andrew Tate right now. Okay. Only I can stop sexism.
Okay.
Well, that just happened. That's you.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Are there any more questions? Go on. I can go.
Okay,
further than that.
there are a few. Well, just like what are your plans for the future? Do you have anything in mind that you're excited about? I mean, obviously still doing this and
Yeah.
stand up
Just
and comedy and stand up
um.
comedy maybe if you're thinking
Yeah.
about doing that.
Yeah. Just that. And any other like. That's where I got dreams. Like I got dreams with comedy of play. I got places I want to go with that. Whereas
Mhm.
I definitely have other things like whatever these square videos are that I just like get the urge to make and then I have to do it.
Mhm.
I've got a lot of things like that where I don't have like I've got projects in my head that I'm like I need to do this, but I don't have a dream with it.
You know, something that I heard recently was like your ideas won't let you rest until you express them.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I feel that.
And what you just said about your Square videos, like, you have to make them.
I don't know where they come from, but I have to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And they'd like charge up, and then suddenly it's like I could probably go and I've got enough footage to like make one now, but I don't. Some it's charging, and then it will
right.
just snap. Like we were in Seattle, and then it just snapped. And I just spent all day, like a whole day in my room. I don't even know why, but just like I had to.
Yeah,
So when that'll, some point, there's things like that. But I know that's my future
yeah.
doing that, man. Have I just talked about myself for an hour? Like
I
feel
think
like a
so.
knobhead.
I think so, but I enabled it the whole time, and they liked
Is
it.
this what every guest does?
Yeah,
Please say they
it's
do.
it's mostly an interview.
Okay, good.
I mean, this one is probably a bit more. I'd say this one gets a more serious tone than the others, but I think it's stuff that both of us are very interested in.
Yeah.
So if they don't like it, then
Well, sorry if my brain's been mush, audience and coy. Yeah, I'm all over.
that's okay. I can try to edit it so it's funny.
Do you think you could do that?
I could try.
Coy, thank you for having me. This has been a lovely bit of, as you said to me, traveling is very, very self-reflective, and I've
Mm.
definitely been deep in doing that recently. So this is nice to kind of get it out,
Yeah,
externalize it a bit.
I did have a question. Do you feel like this performance, and I felt like it's a bit. It's weird because there's a sense of community with like the team, and I'm seeing you all the time and the same people, but there also is this aspect of it that's a bit isolating. Do you
Yeah,
find that when you're
massively.
touring?
Yeah, it's lonely,
Yeah,
especially this tour when we're not on the bus.
yeah,
There's some nights where you go back to your room and there's nothing, and you're just like, and all your friends at home are asleep, and you're like, oh, this is like the great winter.
yeah.
But then,
But then you get in the
but
car in
then
the
other
morning.
times, it's really not. I don't know, but I think for me, this has definitely been an opportunity to do lots and lots and lots of work on myself and how I am, and that time alone, sometimes is like you're wallowing, and other times it's like the most brilliant creative, like, oh my, it's like you're seeing a fucking rainbow. It's like brilliant. So I don't know, it's kind of this nice mix of the two, but I definitely feel like although it is somewhat a bit of a trial by fire, I'll leave it far better off
Yeah.
than not.
I've had I've had like 1 hour plane rides that are more inspiring than the new year. You know,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna turn my life around completely. Like having a lot of travel and time to like reflect in a way where you're like,
My mate said when I came back from the last tour, I was like a different person.
really?
So I'm interested to see what I'm like when I come back from this.
Well,
And you can really see it in my videos too. I come back and there's like a
really
I came back and I was like, right, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm fucking changing everything. I'm changing.
nice.
Like you can really see in my content when it changes. So I guess I'm interested to see, but maybe that was just last time.
Mm.
But I'm ready for summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the great summer.
Yeah.
But that sounds good.
I'd like the great summer. I'd really like the great summer.
Wow.
That would be really nice.
Well, everyone who's on this podcast gets to add a song to the master playlist. Do you have a song that's on your heart right now that you'd like to add to the playlist?
Let me think. Yeah. I was listening to this song and I heard it when I was in Switzerland and I was by myself on a mountain and I put on this album after reading it was like mentioned in a book, and I thought this song, when a song almost speaks to you and describes how you feel in such a profound way.
Mm-hmm.
It's called That's Not Me by the Beach Boys. It's a really simple song. It's on their like most famous album, but it's just amazing. I just thought it's really spoke to me.
I've got to make sure
I
didn't
had
add
to
this song
prove
yet.
that I could
I
make it
didn't.
alone.
Okay.
Not Skepta. That's not me.
Mine is Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips, which is just a great song. And also
That's a
we're in
cool song.
Pittsburgh, which is where Perks Being a Wallflower was filmed, and that song is in that movie. So it's not
That's my
cool.
excited Mike Jiggle. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go meet 100 TommyInnit fans.
Oof.
Give them a massive big hug.
Not one of the gay hugs.
No, because I'm not that
Yet.
yet.
Wait for a Square video that says it's time.
I'm a gay.
I'm I'm the gay. Well, I'll let you get back to the
like,
tour life.
man.
And I'm gonna get back to the tour life
When
too.
does this come out?
Saturday.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What day is it today?
I don't know.
Monday.
Monday.
Wow. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. Quick
Wow.
turnaround. So we have a lot of editing to do to make this one funny between now and then.
Yeah, a lot of little meme jump cuts, cutaway sketches,
Oh,
and Mario
sound
music to
Vine
add.
references.
Bum, ba-dum,
It's gonna
bum.
go, stop! I could have dropped my croissant.
And whenever I say something too reflective, you go, bruh.
Bruh.
Oh my god.
Oh!